Hello everyone, it's Jenna Ryan with Self Love You. Today you get an audio. I'm going to be in the car for the next 45 minutes, and I thought, well, I think I'll just do an audio because I'm working on some of these things myself, and I thought maybe you guys would benefit as well. Today I want to talk about self-sabotage. I want to talk about the problem of self-sabotaging as you are improving your life and becoming your best self. As you are moving towards your goals and reaching your goals and achieving your goals, working hard. All my self-lovies, we work really hard. All of us are working hard. We're all at different levels. We're all doing different things. But our goal is, of course, growth, healing, and achieving our full potential. Whatever that may be, however that shows up for you. That's what our goal is. However, along the way, on the pathway to success, healing, growth, and fulfillment, you have opportunities to feel uncomfortable. And in this discomfort, there's a tendency, I'm sure you can relate, to sabotage your success. Some of us are aware of self-sabotage. Others of us are unaware. If you're unaware of self-sabotage in your life, then the goal should be to become aware. If you're aware of self-sabotage in your life, then the goal should be to resolve the conundrum that's causing the self-sabotage. So I'm just going to talk about self-sabotage and what it really is and how it operates in our lives. As you grow and heal, you recognize things, you realize things, you gain wisdom, you gain knowledge, you gain understanding. You begin to see yourself in a more realistic light. And as you begin to do this, you also begin to free yourself up from the toxic shame that binds you. And you become more capable of doing more, thinking better, feeling better, more confident, more capable. And as you do this, there's something inside your heart, my heart, our hearts, as we go from one phase of maturity, development, growth to the other, there's something inside that feels uncomfortable. It's a place of being uncomfortable even as you are progressing. People stay where they are because it's comfortable. People stay in the emotional places that they are because it's comfortable. People choose not to move forward because it's comfortable. It's comfortable to stay where you are because you don't have to do anything. If you're not doing anything and you're not growing and, you're doing everything to avoid growth and avoid healing and avoid realizing what's really going on and avoid facing reality and avoid doing the grief work and avoid dealing with shame and avoid all that inner healing, then it can be more comfortable. You can find places and ways and things to do to occupy your time to make life more comfortable. You can stay in your comfort zone. And this might look like you can choose not to take risks in life, not to step out, not to leave your apartment, not to go on a date, not to take a risk on a relationship, not to reach out and make new friends, not to take that promotion. You can choose to stay where you are. You can choose to stay in the comfort zone because going outside of the comfort zone is uncomfortable. It requires you to learn how to exist in an uncomfortable state until your brain and the synapses in your brain really learn the new way of being, your higher way of being, your more mature way of being, your healed way of being. your okayness, your resourced way of being. So it can become uncomfortable to take steps of faith, to take risks, to get out there and do things that you once were unable to do. But now that you've healed, grown, matured, progressed, now you may be able to do them, but there's something inside that keeps you and holds you back. And that is because when we stay where we are, there is a psychological payoff. And we really can examine what the payoff is, and doing so helps us become more aware of the self-sabotage, more aware of being stuck in whatever mode you're stuck in. Being aware can help you, being aware of the payoff. What are you getting? What do you get out of being a victim of circumstances? What do you get out of playing it safe and not taking risks? What do you get out of sabotaging if you get a new job? Let's say you get a new job and then you do poorly on the job and get fired. Or let's say you have an opportunity and instead of applying yourself to said opportunity, you goof off and thus sabotage yourself. What if you sabotage your relationships? Let's say you're in a great relationship, things are going great, but part of you feels like it's going too great and you're waiting for the other foot to drop, shoe to drop. So what do? You sabotage the relationship by, cheating. Whatever it is that you do, whatever your pattern is for self-sabotage. Or perhaps you sabotage yourself before you ever even take a step outside of your home. Perhaps your mind, your inner critic, your inner self-talk tells you that you cannot. That is called victim mentality. No, I'm not trying to insult you. It's not insulting to own up to victim mentality. It's actually quite brave and beautiful if you can acknowledge learned helplessness, victim mentality, because only when you acknowledge it and are aware of yourself acting and behaving and feeling and thinking in the patterns of learned helplessness, victim mentality, can you begin to restructure your thought processes and your somatic experiences to foster and help you to grow in a way that is opposite or more user-friendly for yourself. You can begin to lay new pipes. You begin to lay new pipes to new ways of thinking. But it's only whatever you are able to admit and see clearly your own patterns of victim mentality, self-sabotage, that you learn helplessness, that you can begin to take action, that you can begin to use the resources that you have here in 2022 or whatever day it is that you're listening to this, whatever year. It's only then that you can begin to take those resources and begin to chip away at the problem of self-sabotage. It's self-sabotage is, from what I can see, what I feel, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not trained in this, but I am personally someone who's personally developed and learned these things on my own. And I find that patterns of self-sabotage, well, let me just first say that it is well documented that people, as they begin to heal in therapy through inner healing work, it is well documented in scholarly psychology that people begin to experience anxiety at their new level of experience. So and that is another, that can cause self-sabotage. When you're doing great and you're feeling anxiety, you're getting ahead and you're feeling anxiety. That's a very well documented psychological occurrence that happens as you grow. because you're used to being the old you. And the old you, if you're listening to my voice and having trouble with self-love and narcissistic abuse, then the old you is set in a completely different pattern than the new you has to be set in. The old you was survived because of victim mentality and from, self-sabotage. That's how you were able to maintain love. That's how you were able to please those around you. That's how you were able to feel secure, is by not achieving, being, becoming all that you could. Or, even if it's faulty thinking, that's just what you thought. So that's the old you, though. And those survivals, and that's what, self-sabotage is, and victim mentality and learned helplessness. It's all trauma survival skills. And those trauma survival skills helped you to survive, helped you to become the person you are today in your very comfortable zone. Albeit painful, I can imagine, and I can experience. All your trauma responses you had to use, you had to learn behavior, learn thought patterns, learn patterns of feelings, learn cognitions. All of these learned behaviors and learned things where you learned about yourself all come together in that's who you are right now. And so now, as you grow and as you become the fullness of who you are and who you were created to be, now you have to learn to become a healed version of yourself, not a trauma response. Not someone who's responding to trauma, but someone who is just existing, a human being. Not a human response. Not a human, whenever you're collapsing. You're not a human collapse. You're not a human give up. You're not a human I can't do it. You're a human being, and your goal and your job is to be. Just be. And just being can be difficult for those of us who, in one way or the other, experience trauma. And that is most of us, because the culture itself has aspects of trauma that we have to overcome mentally. So here you are, and you are healed and grown, and now it's time for you to take some steps to improve your life, and opportunities come to your door, opportunities come to you, and it's time for you to open the door, walk through the door, and experience the fullness of who you are. But you won't let yourself do it. You will only let yourself go so far. They talk about this subconscious thermometer in everyone's mind, that we have a subconscious thermometer that says, okay, your existence is supposed to be right here, and this feels right. And if you, let's say you make $1 million, but you're used to making $30,000 a year or minimum wage, and all of a sudden you get $1 million, that you will spend all that money in order to sabotage yourself, basically, to get back to where you're used to being, which is $30,000 a year, struggling paycheck to paycheck, losing your job, whatever, not being up to par, whatever it is that you're used to experiencing, that your subconscious will pull you back to that place via self-sabotage. That self-sabotage is a liar too, let me tell you. It will tell lies to you. Yourself is so hard-headed. I read this in one of the books I read on my way here to talk to you guys today. Years ago I read this book, and it said basically yourself will do anything to be right. It will even make up lies about you and others in order to make you right. Whatever it has to do to get out of the place of forward movement. If you're used to being in a place of victim, you're down, you're out, you can't do it, your mind will play all kinds of tricks to get you back to where you belong, It's your subconscious mind. That's why it's so important whenever you're dealing with your own issues of self-sabotage and you're overcoming your own situations in life where you want to do better, achieve more, have stronger relationships, be able to have a better career, be able to work out and reach your physical goals, have a healthy body, stop overeating, whatever it is. All of those things will cause you, those things that you use to cope, that status quo that you've accepted, is very tempting to stay where you are. But if you want to achieve more than that, you want to get beyond that, you really have to face the areas in which you have sabotaged yourself and really begin to search for the truth, dig for the truth, journal for the truth, look within, use your insight to go within and say, where am I sabotaging myself and why? It's kind of painful to realize that sometimes, not sometimes, all the time, our life is manifest of what's going on the inside. So sometimes you might be headed somewhere and things may be going bad for you and you're headed somewhere better. But sometimes you're creating the negative experiences all around you with your thoughts, your cognitions, your beliefs, your negative core beliefs. And so it's very difficult to stop and say, wait a minute, how am I contributing to this? What is the payoff? What am I getting by not leaving my apartment? What am I getting by turning down, these opportunities to get married or be loved or go out with somebody that will love me instead of somebody who is going to use me? Or what am I getting? And a lot of what we're getting when that happens and we stay stuck in those patterns is we're getting to be right. And the mind really wants to be right. And that's one reason why people have to go to cognitive behavioral therapy, is because you have to learn cognitively, which is not in the depths of your soul, it's more in your thinking processes. You have to learn cognitively how to think in a more realistic fashion. And so you have to teach yourself and convince yourself and show your mind, program your mind, show your mind what the truth is, even if it takes more than one try, even if it takes more than one tool, more than one step, even if you have to do it over and over again, no matter how many times, it's worth it to fix your brain and help your brain to stop self-sabotaging. Sometimes self-sabotage can come in the form of dissociation, where you just go numb. Perhaps it's with substances, perhaps it's with, computer games, perhaps it's with social media, or whatever it is, shopping, whatever it is that will sabotage you and take your mind off of your need to grow and improve. Whatever you can find, all right? Your mind will do it. And I call that, in my view, that's more of a dissociation. You can dissociate out of having to do anything. And then you wake up and you're like, okay, I'm out of that. I'm out of the woods. Now I'm back to where I was always at. Now I can come back to life and try again. It's almost like the Sisyphean cycle, where the guy is trying to push the rock up the mountain, and then he pushes it, he almost gets to the top, and then the rock falls on him and he rolls back down. And then he stands back up and tries to push the rock back up the mountain. That may be where your comfort level is. This could be, I could be relating, for me, it's working out. I get to where I love to work out and I'm doing great. And then I'm starting to see progress. And then all of a sudden it's like, I don't feel like working out. And that is because I'm sabotaging myself, because I have that thermometer. So that's why it's important to see yourself use your subconscious mind through visualization and imagination, which are your tools for becoming all that you need to be and can be and will be, using your imagination, using visualization, using, what do they call it? Meditation, using positive affirmation, using all these shuns to heal yourself and stay focused on you and getting healed in that way. And I'm not saying focus only on you and don't focus on your friends or family. No. I'm just saying take time out of your day to recognize where in your life you're self-sabotaging and where you're dissociating and where you're numbing out, and in what ways can you interrupt that process. What tools can you find? What can you Google? Where can you go? Who can you talk to? Can you find a cognitive behavioral therapist? Can you pinpoint the problem? Pinpointing the problem and becoming aware is half the battle. If you can do that, then you can take the next step, which is to begin to unravel the double binds that you're holding within your mind that are keeping you stuck, keeping you sabotaging, and keeping you rolling that boulder up the hill that falls back on you. So to end on a positive note, I would just like to say that you can achieve more than your wildest dreams. You can achieve everything that you were created to achieve. The sky is a limit for you. Your mind is the only barrier to what you can achieve. You have within you the capacity to overcome all of your negative emotions, all of your self-sabotage. You have it all within your heart to do. All you must do is apply yourself, work hard, study, learn, grow, improve, and don't collapse and don't blame anyone else. Take responsibility for your own life, for your own feelings. You're an adult. It's up to you to make the difference in your own life. And the answers are out there just waiting for you to ask the question. And I hope that you will ask it, and I hope that you will find it. And until next time, this is Jenna Ryan, Self Love You. I will talk to you soon.